Welcome to section 2. In this section, we will create a basic weather API where we will aggregate data based on the application boilerplate we created in the first section. In our case, we will use two providers, OpenWeatherMap and Opixu. The system will be expandable, so if you want to add your own provider, you can do it. The way we will do this is that we will have a city list and we will query the current temperature for each city. We use the Laravel schedule system, so the data will be updated automatically and saved to our database. In the first video, we will take a look at the data formats from each provider and acquire an API key so we can make calls to each provider. The main reason we are doing this is that each provider has very limited query counts, so if you want to serve a lot of clients with your application, the data should already be in your database so you can read it from there. Now, let's talk a little about API keys. The definition of an API key is really well summed up in the Wikipedia page, so we will use the following definition. An application programming interface key, or API key, is a code passed in by computer programs calling an application programming interface API to identify the coding program, its developer, or its user to the website. API keys are used to track and control how the API is being used, for example to prevent malicious site use and abuse of the API, as defined by perhaps the terms of service. An API key is basically a username and a password at the same time. The big difference is that this code is basically never handed out to end users because no one can remember a 40-character string all the time. Services use this method to authenticate themselves to other services. Note that we will look at user authentication later during this course using JWT token. Now, our first provider is openweathermap.org. Go to openweathermap.org and sign up. Click the sign up page and sign up to the service. When you sign up to the service, go to your profile page and go to your API keys, and you can see your API key there. Copy your API key, we will use this in Postman. Now open up Postman. We will run an example query here. You can reach the current documentation of the OpenWeatherMap API in the openweathermap.org/current. Now we will copy an example query here and we will leave the API ID right now, and we will get an invalid API key exception. We will see that we did not include our API key there, and we will do it right now. Copy your API key and insert it to the query. Now we are authenticated to the service and we can see the incoming data. We can see a lot of things here. We can see the latitude, longitude, the mean temperature, and so on and so on. We will use the temperature for our application. Open up the site and you will see this page. Sign in or register to the service and you will get your API key. If you log in, you will see your dashboard. You can see your example query here. Now let's paste this to Postman. Now we can see we are authenticated to the service and we've got our data. We've got the name of the city, we've got the last updated timestamp, we've got the temperature in Celsius and Fahrenheit, and so on and so on.